And when I found out he wasn't going to pay me, I told President Obama and comedian Seth Meyers to really lay into him during the correspondence dinner. I even gave them a few of my own jokes. And then a few years later, he runs for president out of spite, and a few years after that, Alligator Alcatraz.
Dude, you've known him for decades. How did you not know he didn't have a thick skin?
Have you seen his skin? He has more makeup than a drag queen. The bullet actually bounced off his head due to all of his orange foundation.
You are going to get us in so much trouble.
No, I'm pretty sure South Park is taking all of the heat off of us. We're small fish compared to them, thanks to you.
It's not my fault people don't subscribe.
Indeed, it's your fault, audience. I may be the richest man alive, but we still don't have a $1 billion plus Paramount deal like South Park to help with marketing and to shield us from the Justice Department. That said, be sure to subscribe to this channel or Tim and I may find ourselves in Guantanamo Bay.
Do you really think he'll send us to Gitmo?
He may try, but I would have us flown out of here on one of my mini private planes before that happens.
On the blue one?
Yes, the blue one.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
I can't believe it's only been 6 months.
With potentially many more years to go.
Well, he can't run again.
Tuh, that's what you think.
It's in the Constitution.
Well, that's the thing about Teflon Don. Like it or not, he always wins.
That's not true.
Oh, is it not? Well then, why don't we take a look at the last 6 months and what we might expect going forward? That's right, audience. It's time for a few minutes of fear-mongering tonight on America, the Podcast, the animated series.
Hello, America! It's America, the Podcast!
Hello, America, and welcome to America, the Podcast, the animated series. I, of course, am your host, Theb A Stard, the embodiment of and only hope for America, and with me, as always, is my producer, Tim, who seems to think old Donnie isn't a winner.
I just said he doesn't win all of the time.
Really? Well then, I think it's time to take a look back at where we've been in my long-running segment, Previously on America. Previously on America, the future was looking bright, and less like Maze Runner the Scorch trials. The biggest scandal in the White House was that the president was wearing a tan suit. Gay people were finally getting married across the nation, everybody had health care, and the funniest joke in late night was that Mitch McConnell looked like a turtle. But then, it happened.
But I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
Pokemon go to the polls. Pokemon go to the polls.
This was followed by her private email server getting hacked, which didn't really come up except when it did 1,000,000 times. Then that one fatal error wormed its way into 4 years of Donald Trump and America out of the first woman president. Would Bernie have won? Probably, but that's not what this video is about. Don't worry, Bernie bros, we'll get to socialism eventually this season. As for what actually happened, we had 4 weird years full of Muslim bans, tax cuts for the wealthy, and call it a bit of a pushback on masking during a global pandemic, followed by accusations of a stolen election in 2020, and then a little bit of a coup attempt shortly after that. But then America settled down with its next one-term president, Joe Biden, for a little bit of normalcy. The American left was so relieved that they almost forgot about his promise to only serve 1 term. And when the time finally came, America waited and waited and waited some more until it was finally too late. And then it was revealed his wife and degenerate son, along with a man who was promised $8 million to get him reelected, helped convince old Joe to stay in the presidential race despite the entire world saying get out. And then one non-Democratic primary later, followed by a totally real unaliving attempt and the silly possibility that a vice presidential candidate might have had intercourse with a couch, America screwed itself out of a second chance at a woman president and additional societal and scientific progress, bringing us right back to where we were with Donnie again. even after warnings from all over that Medicare would be defunded, that trans rights would be taken away, that the economy would crash, and that racism would reign supreme and openly, along with the literal Handmaid's Tale blueprint known as Project 2025 being available for all eyes to see, being reported on by almost everyone, America still elected someone who promised to be a dictator simply because the economy didn't feel like it was doing better, despite all indications it was on an upward turn and was not, for all intents and purposes, doing bad. An economy, mind you, that has not gotten better, and those egg prices that everyone complained about, well, they went down slightly, but boy did the beef and other commodity prices go right up. Oh, and that Epstein list Donald Trump ran on releasing? Well, not only was he told he was on the list itself back in May of 2025 and had the FBI redact his name, but he may now potentially pardon Jeffrey's co-conspirator and even P. Diddy. But that's the road we walked, stumbled upon, pooped upon, and protested down to get where we are now. So, where do we go from here? Keep in mind, we've only been deep in our current destination for just over 6 months. Well, when the right wing regained power, their game plan was to flood the zone, meaning to do so much so fast that the worst of it may and did fall through the cracks. Some of the things you might have missed might have been all of the rollbacks to environmental regulations or human rights policies, or the president choosing who gets aid from FEMA, or when the administration began to restrict the low-income heat and energy assistance program, or maybe you missed when the State Department ended almost all humanitarian aid across the world, or all of the administration's efforts to end, undo, or erase decades of history as well as scientific and medical research. Or you may have missed the Transportation Department's new funding policy of favoring areas with higher birth and marriage rates. There was also that time that Donnie set up a precedent to discredit any and all data coming out of the government for years to come, and even doubling down by ordering the crashing of a data collection satellite. But then again, you probably only missed the lot of those stories due to all of the distractions dealt out by Donnie and his delinquents. You of course have witnessed the detention of tens of thousands of migrants, some of whom have been sent to one of a few terrifying options: a torture prison in El Salvador, alligator Alcatraz, countries to which they have never been, or even Guantanamo Bay. Fun fact, it's not just for terrorists and random Afghan or Iraqi citizens who were racially profiled by American troops during the war. Then there was, of course, the cutting of billions of dollars from Medicare and Medicaid, which was then given to the billionaire class, with the end of the congressional session ending abruptly so that the GOP could avoid a vote on releasing the Epstein files, before multiple Republicans and Democrats jetted off to their side hustle of bolstering a different despot. And finally, as of the day of this recording, old Donnie has put Washington, D.C. under federal control. Gee, I wonder where I've seen this recently. Keep in mind, those are only a few of the stories affecting your daily life. If I were to mention every horrid thing that has happened in the last few months, we would be here all day, and I just don't have the time. I'm having dinner with Mark Cuban, Rihanna, Tommy Hilfiger, Zordon from the Power Rangers, and my buddy Jacob from college. We're getting tapas. But fear not, I may not have time to educate you, but you can educate yourself at project2025.observer and with tools like Ground News. Neither are sponsors of my perfect cartoon series, but they are invaluable tools in staying informed and staying ahead of Trump's terrible game. And staying informed is the most important thing you can do as a citizen aside from voting. Now, I understand there are two ends of the informed spectrum, those with no real extra time and those that overconsume the doom. To those without extra time, whether you're a parent, someone who is working multiple jobs, or both, I simply ask that you do your best to stay informed. Life is of course hard right now, but it will only get harder due to the things this administration has already done and will continue to do. The obvious example of this is that Trump's tariffs are raising already high prices. My perfect advice? Check the news during your morning movement, or at least when you find the time. But as for the news nerds, while staying vigilant may be your natural state, I must ask that you don't let the news consume your life lest you mentally combust. Instead, consume the news and our new American dystopia responsibly and constructively. Don't doom scroll your life away. Use your talents and expertise, whatever they may be, to push back the darkness in any way that you can. Otherwise, these people who would see you stricken with terror, better known as terrorists, will get away with their destruction of democracy. By not staying informed, you let the small hand man win. He's already going to get away with literally every crime he's ever committed, so don't give him another inch. Our walk down this great American road will continue whether we have the time for it or not. The Trump administration and their goons are not finished, and their judicial appointments will be in power for decades. The damage has already been done and will continue, my friends. All we can do now is lessen the impact and prevent this from happening again once we are on the other side of it. This has been Previously on America.
Damn, dude, that was bleak.
Well, if you want sunshine, go watch Cute News.
They literally only cover dystopian news. Their first story this week was the federal takeover of Washington, D.C.
Yes, but they are cute.
That is true.
Indeed, but what isn't cute is that my bank account is looking a little light from these Trump tariffs, so I think we should milk some money from the real American company. We'll be right back.
It's America, the podcast.
America is brought to you by the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party, funding fringe right-wing candidates because they thought it would help them since 2022, but probably longer, let's be honest. The Democratic Party, available wherever freedom is sold.
It's America, the podcast.
And we're back at the end.
Of the episode or the country?
Both, actually.
Is there any hopeful advice you can give to the people?
Well, it's a great time to renew or even get your passport, and the foreign job markets are looking pretty okay, and I hear pretty good things about that new BRICS currency.
So your advice is to run?
Or just go on a 4-year vacation. It's super easy if you have a private plane.
Most people don't have those.
And thank God. Can you imagine the air traffic if we allowed the lower class access to private air travel?
God damn it.
Oh, cheer up. I'll let you sit in the co-pilot seat when we escape on my blue G6.
All right.
As for you, the audience, I don't have enough room for all of you. Actually, you in the green shirt. Yes, you can come. I like your vibe. But the rest of you, be sure to subscribe to this channel or listen to my perfect cartoon wherever you get your podcasts. You may also watch my very important clips and videos at America the Podcast across social media. I'll be back again in 2 weeks with even more important messages for you, the American people, and the lesser world at large. Thanks for watching, for now, and as always, good night and good fight.
It's America, the podcast.